What is going on, Badger fans? We have a great show today, something we've been looking forward to for a while. We got 3 other people on. I think y'all going to like this one. We're going to do a Badgers basketball draft. We're going to talk about it, have some great memories on today's Locked On Badgers. Let's go.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Locked On Badgers, your team every day. I'm your host, Ryan Herrings, as always. Really do appreciate everybody tuning in, as always. And we're not going to waste any more time because we got, like LeBron said, not 1, not 2, not 3. Well, 3 other Badger experts. I guess that's all I got. We're going to have Rajeev, Justin, Dillon. Great group of guys. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Good. Happy to be here.
Doing well.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course, man. And really quick, Rajeev and Justin, as always, very familiar faces of the show, beloved faces of the show. Dillon, a great content creator over at Badger Notes. Dillon, I definitely always want to give you an opportunity to share what you guys got going on and what's happening at Badger Notes so people can find your work.
Yeah, right now we're growing a little bit. Added a couple different writers to the staff, trying to give a voice to a handful of, new people in the community and anyone listening. If you have interest, you're more than welcome to reach out. It's my goal to, provide an opportunity and a platform to anyone who has interest and wants any kind of reporting experience or just get in the blogging world, anything, get a hold of me, let me know. Love to hear from you.
Love it. All right, guys. So we've been talking about this for a while. We're going to do a Badgers draft. All players from the Bo Ryan era on are eligible. Here are the ground rules. And we talked about it, but I want to make sure everybody listening knows. You get the best version of this player. So you would get, but not in a game. Like I mentioned, Ryan Wilson. You're not getting that version of him from the Indiana game, for example. But you would get, for example, Prime Kaminsky, Prime Decker, Prime Jordan Taylor, whoever it is. So you get the best version of the player. We're trying to build the best team, not necessarily the all-star team, just the team that we think would compete the best in a 7-game series. We're doing a snake draft. We randomize the draft order. Rajeev got the first pick. Dillon's 2. Justin's 3. I'm 4. I don't really know what the best spot is in a draft like this, to be honest. I don't know if there's an advantage of going first or last. We're going to track the picks as they come up. We're going to have a fan vote at the end to see who had the best draft. Guys, anything I'm missing on this?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Good to go.
I'm going to share just for everybody. So if you're listening on the podcast, we'll definitely do a good job of trying to recap our picks. But if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to put up kind of a draft tracker so you can follow along with us. And then we'll kick it off. I'm really excited about this one and very appreciative of everybody jumping in. Rajeev, you do have the first pick. Let me pull up our Excel sheet here so we can keep track of all the draft picks. And you can get started, my friend.
All right. Of all the years that we've been Badger fans, 2014, 2015 was really the time where we got pretty damn excited. 1999 for me was good. My freshman year, we went to the Final Four, but 2015, literally the hardest game we've ever had as Badger fans, at least for me. I think we've talked about this before, awful. But the reason we were there is the number 1 pick, Frank Kaminsky, will be on my team. Honestly, his best season, averaged 19 points a game, consensus All-American, National Player of the Year, took us to the final game. And frankly, we were the better team. We were the best team in America. And it's because of that guy, Frank Kaminsky, 100% number 1 pick. Easy pick for me.
There was nobody else. You didn't consider anybody else?
I did. Actually, I did it first. But I'm not going to say who because in case for some reason you guys just don't.
Number 2 here.
Yeah, you guys just don't draft him, so I'm just going to wait. But as time went on, and we kind of talked about this for a couple weeks, it became very clear to me what I needed to do.
No, it makes a lot of sense, and it's hard to argue with, but I'm going to be sprinting my selection up. It's going to be Devin Harris, the face of the franchise, will be manning point guard for my team.
Really quick, I made a draft board, and all I put under Devin Harris is I won't get him at 4. I don't care. I was just salty. He's incredible, man.
When I was going to school, he was there when I went there, and man, I have a signed Devin Harris jersey with him signing like right here. It was incredible. It was just so fun to watch. The steals that he had, the crowd would just go crazy. He'd go up there, just pull it back, dunk. I mean, he electrified every game he played in. It was so fun to watch.
Back-to-back Big Ten champs.
Yeah. Most unique Badger player in this era, right? Because Kaminsky, at least Happ is a similar post player. Not as good, but is Harris the most unique player we've had in this era?
I would say, yeah.
At their position, I would certainly say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that 100%.
Justin, you're on the board, bud.
I'm going to go with the Washington Wizards, Johnny Davis at number 3.
You knew you were going to get him, Ryan.
I thought he would go Decker.
When you take a look at Decker's stat line, you look at a lot more at how he played, how much he upped his game in the NCAA tournament. It's only like 13.9 a game or something like that is his best season.
Listen, that's a great pick. That's because here's the thing with Johnny Davis. I think if he had been on a better offensive team, the usage rate isn't as high and his efficiency numbers are better. And he's a total dog. He's a complete dude. Two-way player, point of attack defender.
The shooting guard position is also a train wreck with the Badgers. It's not the deepest spot in the history of Wisconsin.
Man, okay, I got to adjust a little bit. That's a great pick. Well, listen, I'm going to go Decker then. I'm definitely going to get a really versatile wing player. Basketball now it's versatility. It's wing players. It's 3-and-D. Give me the 6'10" athlete. You can do way worse than lottery pick Sam Decker. I'm going to take Decker to start, and then I love my point guard. I'm getting Jordan Taylor. I'm getting
that's my guy.
Second team All-American. And really, Taylor's interesting because his junior season, again, you get the best version of him. You're talking 18 points a game, 43% shooter. We saw him go nuclear against Ohio State. I'm going to get a great shot every time down the court. Durable, great leader. I also have, if you guys see me look away, I have a draft board off to the side. All right, I don't want anyone to see it, so I have it kind of hidden. Taylor is one of my Golden Sneakers players. I have a few players on my draft board that I call Golden Sneakers guys. They're character culture guys. Johnny Davis is one of those too. But I'm going to go Jordan Taylor. I'm going to lock up the point guard position, and I actually feel really good. I got Taylor and Sam Decker. Not exactly what I wanted at the flip, but I feel really good with this.
When he left school, he had the greatest assist-to-turnover ratio in NCAA history.
I like where I'm at this. I would have gone Taylor, Johnny, though, if it was there.
I'm going to go ahead and grab John Lure on the way back.
Wish you'd have fell one more. My wife had a shrine to him before I knew him.
So there's some things you need to dive into there.
No, I totally get it. That's okay.
I totally get it. Let's talk to us about your Lure pick. Why Lure here?
Looking at the big men that we've had, and Wisconsin has a rich tradition of big men. John Lure had some tools in the toolbox that a lot of the guys that we've had at that position did not have. He was a better athlete than most of the guys that we have, had more range than a lot of the guys. He moved well defensively. He wasn't a big shot blocker, but statistically, he was a good free throw shooter. He just brought a lot to the table. He was a good leader with the team, and he could put the ball on the floor and actually go by people a little bit. There's some correlation there to some of the tools that Frank had. When you look at the two of them, and most of the other big men that Wisconsin had just don't have that type of game.
Yeah, Low-key Lure too had like an 8-year NBA career. He signed a second contract, which is pretty impressive. It speaks to the skill set.
$40 million deal with the Pistons.
And looking at the two people you already have on your team, Johnny Davis and John Lure, that's a solid way to start your team right there.
You know, when you're putting together a squad, you got to build around a point guard and you got to build around a big man. And I'm going to take a multiple-time All-American, and we're going to throw Ethan Happ in there. We're going to give you buckets. We're going to make you work for it every single time.
He was up there. The free throws are the thing that killed him for me.
We got plans to protect against that and off the bench.
Incredible.
Not going to let y'all hack to have.
No, that's going to be a fun two-man game too with Harris and Happ. All right, Rajeev, man, you're on the flip.
This is actually, I was kind of hoping that this would go a little bit differently to start, but that's okay. So I'm gonna pivot a little bit. I'm gonna make a pick that I was hoping someone else would take because I'm not sure if it's right at this moment. But I'm going to take consensus All-American Alando Tucker. I have some reservations about Alando's game in general. But the bottom line is the guy could score with the best of them. In his best season, he averaged 19.9 points a game, 47% field goal percentage, two-time All-Big Ten, Big Ten Player of the Year. I mean, look, his time at Wisconsin speaks for itself. And you put Alando Tucker and Frank the Tank on the team, you're going to do really well.
I removed him from my draft board due to let me see. Character concerns.
Ryan's running a clean franchise.
That seems fair.
I want my coach to feel protected. I want my locker room to feel sacred. He's not one. Not only is he not one of my golden sneaker guys, he doesn't get sneakers.
But you said we get them at his best, not when not with his antics later on after he played, but at his best. That's what we have to focus on here. So let the voters remember that.
It's fair. All right, so really quick, let's just recap. Everybody's got 2 players. Rajeev went Alando, Rimrucker, Tucker, and got Frank the Tank. A lot of offense there. Dillon goes Devin Harris, Ethan Happ. Justin gets Johnny Davis, who I was hoping would fall to me at 4. John Lure, and I have Jordan Taylor and Sam Decker, all studs off the board at this point. We got to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Rajeev is on the clock for his 3rd pick of the draft. We got to take a quick break for our friends of the show over at FanDuel. And I'm just going to keep a couple of the guys on here because there's some interesting Wisconsin lines out there. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Our friends of the show, they're where I go to put all my money on my favorite teams. And, I bet with my heart. It is what it is. Gentlemen, Wisconsin +10 against Ohio State, going to be in Madison. FanDuel is a great spot to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. Safe, secure, easy to use. Justin, really quick gut reaction, +10, Wisconsin, Ohio State.
I would have to see what their quarterback's going to look like, but I think it's a fair line not knowing what they have. If they have a guy who's not quite up to what they've seen in the past, their margin for error as Ohio State's going to shrink quite a bit. There's a lot of tools there, but if they don't have a surefire stud at quarterback, it changes their game.
That is the opposite of really quick reaction. Rajeev, really quick reaction.
For me, that's quick.
It is not a fair line. We're at home at night, 100%. Take the Badgers. Come on, get out of here.
Dillon.
I wish I shared Rajeev's optimism. Give me the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I'm with Dillon. Give me the Buckeyes. Until it can be proven, it's a first-year staff. I'm taking the Buckeyes +10. Anyway, FanDuel, go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. Get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000. Get your bonus bets back. America's #1 sports book. Baseball's in full swing as well. You're not going to regret it. FanDuel.com/lockedon. All right, gentlemen. Again, really quickly, thank you to everybody who's listening. We're going to keep this draft going. Rajeev, you are on the clock. Let me get our draft board back up here as I attempt to multitask. Who are you going with on your 3rd pick?
It's kind of difficult, I feel like, to get to be in the 1 and 4 position because you have so many picks in between. And I feel like at this point, I got to get the one line solved. So I'm going Trayvon Hughes. I think the guy 15.3 points a game in his best season, 4.5 rebounds, 40% from 3, all Big Ten defense. The guy is where he belongs on that one line. Or he's a great point guard for the team. And I was hoping to kind of maybe go a different direction, but I can't not have Hughes on my team in this position. And the guy was incredible. He could create his own shot, which we don't have a lot of in Wisconsin's basketball history. And I love this guy.
Yeah, he's an underrated player, it feels like, when you go back and watch highlights of Hughes. Could just be me. I don't know.
So I like what we got for a 2-man game here, and while you're focused on them, I'm going to bring in an assassin to give you a bucket. We're going to take Kirk Penney here as my
it's
shooting
so
guard.
good.
I mean, I almost wanted to go. Look, I love Kirk Penney, and his shooting was so incredible. I wanted to go there, but I thought I needed to get a point guard while I still had a really good shot at it, and that's
a no-brainer. You don't have a team if you don't got a point guard.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man. Kirk Penney, 6'5". For younger Badger fans, 6'5", great shooter, good decision maker. Like, that's 6 rebounds a game. That's a great pick, man. I was hoping he would fall to me on the flip, as you can tell. I'm effusive for the players.
He wasn't going to. I can tell you that right now.
Justin.
Oh, man. With the way this is playing out, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to grab Bronson Koenig.
Yeah.
Everyone else has got a point guard. I got to grab him before somebody else robs me and make me have to wrap back around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great backcourt, too. Koenig and Davis. All right, so I need some help in the front court. I feel like I have to go with Mike Wilkinson. He's going to be my 4.
Incredible player.
Yep.
Very underrated. Do everything. Great defender. Great defender.
He's the bar.
I just have a few words on Wilkinson. Another guy that played when I was there, and I mean his development from his freshman year to his senior year was amazing. The post moves, we talked about Steven Crowd this season and how he could create and change his ability to make post moves and really play well in the post. Mike Wilkinson embodied that completely. If you watch him his second season, you watch him his fourth season, the guy was incredible at scoring in the low post. Oh, by the way, he could step out and drain the three anytime he wanted. He was an incredible player. I was also hoping he'd come somehow back to me, but that wasn't going to happen. Mike Wilkinson is one of my all-time favorite Badgers, and I had to say something about him. I absolutely love the guy, and I think he is the most underrated Badger that we're probably going to draft tonight.
Couldn't agree more. He was country strong.
Yeah, were you tempted to take him, Rajeev? I mean, you needed a point guard, but
he is who I wanted right here. But I just I felt like, you know what, if I don't get a point guard now, it's going to be 8 picks before I get back, or 7 picks. So I had to get Trayvon Hughes, but I wanted Wilkinson on my team. He is one of my all-time favorite players.
I can tell you right now, I would have been taking him if Hughes.
I figured, but
can I give you a great Wilkinson stat? So since 1995-96. Wilkinson, see if I still have it. Yep, has the 3rd best Big Ten win share in a single season for any player in the Big Ten since 1995-96. Think about that. This is according to Basketball Reference. The 3rd highest win share in a season is Mike Wilkinson. So I think that's a steal getting him where he's at. Now I'm really torn now, though. That to me, that was an easy pick, and now I feel like it's going
to get harder.
Some of the pieces I wanted didn't quite fall. You know what I'm going to do? I feel like I have a lot of offense. I'm going to get a good shot with Taylor. I want a defensive anchor. I need one. Frank the Tank, Ethan Happ. Like, I need somebody down there who's going to block shots. Give me Bergeron. They're a very good block percentage. One of the better rim protectors Wisconsin's had in it. Really, we haven't had a ton of great rim protectors. Bergs might be about the top there. And I needed
a shot blocker until Reavers took it from him.
Yeah. So I'm not taking Reavers. That's another one that's down the list a little bit for me. So give me Jared Bergeron. I feel really good about my front court. Justin.
Nigel Hayes.
I love Nigel.
Very good pick.
Let me you want Nigel at the 3 or the 4?
We'll play him at the 3. I was going to play Lure at the 5, so
I can move down.
All right, that works.
So my next pick is the one that I've been just waiting on. It was always going to be me that took this player. He's my favorite Badger of all time. You can pencil in Josh Gosser at the 2. 3-time first team All Big Ten defender, 40% shooter from beyond the arc, just the ultimate glue guy. Give me Captain America.
Can I tell you that's another one of my golden sneakers players?
Absolutely.
You and your golden sneakers.
Yep. A culture. You need. Every successful team has had a dude like Josh Gosser. Every single one of them.
If anybody listening out there has a Josh Gosser jersey for sale, I've been in the market for years. Please reach out to me. Money is not an object in this case.
I love it. By the way, really quick, I didn't get a chance to say it. Justin, Nigel Hayes is a great pick too. Really, really intelligent player. Couldn't play zone against him. Great defender. I like Hayes a lot in your spot there.
Okay, boy, this is really shaping up interesting. So for the listeners, so far I've got Trayvon Hughes at my point guard. I've got Alando Tucker and Frank the Tank, the man, Frank Kaminsky. I think at this point I'm deciding between a couple different plays. Well, I obviously have 2 picks in a row, but kind of where I want to go in each one. So this has got to be one of your golden sneaker guys, and a guy that just, to me, the ultimate player, the ultimate Badger. He's going to be my number 2 on here. I'm going Brad Davison.
He is.
Absolutely incredible player. The guy he did everything, right? I mean, he was a great defender. He took charges. He took control of the game. He's a great leader on and off the court. Huge player for me there. And then this is where I think it gets a little interesting, because I'm kind of deciding between a few options, knowing that I got Tucker at the 3. I'm gonna still take the super athlete here. I'm going Marcus Landry. The guy averaged only 12.7 points per game in his best season, 55% field goal percentage, Big Ten tournament MVP, super talented, super athletic, and that's going to round out my starting 5.
So really what I'm missing here is a big man that can stretch the floor. And, the choice seems pretty obvious to me. And so I've got to take Keaton Ankeville here as my 4. 40% 3-point shooter from Madison Memorial. He's exactly what I need to offset Ethan Happ.
Yeah, another player that kind of gets forgotten about in the front court Rolodex for Badgers.
It's because John Lure was a star.
All right, that leaves me having to fill in my power forward spot here real quick. And thanks to Rajeev, the guy who I was looking at is no longer available. I'm going to go Micah Potter.
Wow.
Interesting.
Another guy who could stretch the floor. I'm liking my 5-out game here if I want to.
You want me to put Potter at the 5 or the 4 for you?
You
And Lure
at
at
the 4.
Okay. Lure. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
But yeah, big man who was a solid rebounder, also was a guy who could shoot it from the outside, was a good free throw shooter. You know, he provides, at least I'm winning the analytics battle here right now. Unless we really dive into the defensive stats, which then, you know, Potter, we're just going to go ahead and accept the fact that hopefully he's getting helped out by everyone else on the floor.
Now, Potter offensively, I always felt like deserved a bigger role.
I agree with that.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna finish off. I got another golden sneakers guy that made it to me. I love this dude. So everyone's kind of talked about some of their favorite Badgers, Wilkinson and Gosser. This dude really might be my most favorite, least heralded Badger, if that's a category. Incredibly smart, great defender, good shooter as a senior. Give me Michael Flowers.
Yeah,
I am going to go ramps on people. With Taylor and Flowers, I love my backcourt. Great. By the way, everyone remembers that Texas game, right, where he hit the big three. But the most underrated part of that was then he stole the inbounds pass.
Threw it up in the air.
Yep.
That was incredible.
Smart. I love it. That's how you get a golden sneakers on the Ryan Herring's draft board. Plays like that. All right, we're going to take a quick break there. Really quickly, Rajeev, your starting lineup, or his starting lineup for those listening on the podcast that can't see what we have sharing here. He has Trayvon Hughes, Brad Davidson, Alando Tucker, Marcus Landry, Frank the Tank. Dillon is countering with Devin Harris, Josh Gosser, Kirk Penney. Great pick. Keaton Nankiville and Ethan Happ, Justin as Bronson Koenig, Johnny Davis, Nigel Hayes, Micah Potter, John Lure. And I have Jordan Taylor, Michael Flowers, Sam Decker, Mike Wilkinson, and Jared Berggren. Guys, Rajeev, let's just start with you. You pick first. How do you feel about because we're going to do the bench in the next show. We're going to wrap up with the bench on the next show and kind of a recap. How do you feel about your starting lineup, Rajeev?
I feel like my team dominates all of your teams. I'm just kidding.
At the door.
No, I think that I actually really like my team. I mean, I've got a great point guard in Trayvon Hughes and really the ultimate glue guy, the ultimate do-everything guy in Brad Davison. So that backcourt, while I really do like the Taylor Flowers backcourt a lot and Devin Harris and Gosser for sure, but I like my backcourt because I think they're very versatile. They're very different and they kind of fill each other's gaps. And then from a scoring perspective, Tucker and Landry, super athletic guys. I mean, I've definitely got one of the more athletic, maybe athletic top starting fives. And then, of course, the best player that we have, Frank the Tank Kaminsky. I'm very, very pleased with what I have so far.
You worried about any spacing issues with Tucker and Landry?
Yeah, I am a little bit, and that's one of that Landry actually was I almost left him for Justin to take, because I'm sure he would have, and I almost went somewhere else because I was a little concerned about that. But look, give me the athletes; they'll figure it out.
Dillon, where are you at on your starting lineup here? What do you love and what do you think you might be missing?
Honestly, if we're taking the court right now, it's hard not to love what I'm working with here. I got a point guard and get downhill, break down every single point guard you guys got defending them. I got shooters all over the floor, and if I want to space it out a little bit and let Hap, go to work down low, you guys want to double him. He's a great passer. I've got shooters at all 4 spots. I mean, pick your poison.
Question for you, Dillon. I feel like your scoring on the inside is a little lacking. I mean, I know Ethan Happ is a great scorer. I'm not saying he's not, but I feel like with Nankiville and Happ, compared to some of the other front courts, I feel like you might be lacking a little bit in interior scoring.
I mean, we're looking at 30 points a game from those 2 guys alone, so I'm not terribly concerned when I have 2 other, roughly 20-point-a-game scorers in Harris and Penney and Happ. And then I got Nankiville as kind of just a niche 3-point shooter that can space the floor, and that's Gosser's role as well. My point is really what I'm working for here is volume scorers, guys that are going to give you buckets, and then role players that just fill what we need on the court.
Justin, what do you think about your starting lineup?
Would have liked to have had a little more athleticism at the point. Hughes was my guy that I was really hoping to pair that backcourt, and I really would have hung my hat on that. But I love Koenig as a guy who can really hit it from the outside. Johnny's obviously a guy who can attack the rim. Nigel's a guy who can work in the post. Same with Lure. And Potter gives you some stretch that can stretch it out also from the outside. So I really like the IQ of the guys that I have, as well as the athleticism for the most part that I'm bringing out on the floor.
Hayes is a matchup problem. He can give you buckets a lot of different ways. He was a really underrated Badger.
Yeah,
Hayes and Davis. Talk about the scoring threat that those guys put out there for you.
And a big shot maker in Koenig. Lure is a versatile player. For my squad, I don't have a ton of. I don't love Bergeron where I picked. Honestly, like I felt like
I was kind of surprised by that. Honestly,
I felt like I needed a big who can protect the rim, but I felt a little pushed into that because of Frank the Tank and Happ. I do love my backcourt, and I think Decker and Wilkinson at the 3 and the 4 gives me a ton of versatility, a ton of scoring. So a ton of versatility for sure. I like it a lot. I don't know if I love my 5 spot compared to some of the other people here. All right, we're gonna take it. Oh, go ahead.
No, I had Berger in 8th on my big board of centers.
Yeah, the reason
I understood the thought process. You were looking for a rim protector.
Yeah, and
which Wisconsin doesn't do.
I had other players higher than him. Actually, it's funny. I'm looking at my draft board, and I have Bergs behind a couple other players that I won't mention because they may come back to me at some point. But I really felt like with Frank the Tank, I really felt like with Wilkinson, Decker, Taylor, I'm going to get my offense. All I wanted for my 5 was somebody who can kind of contend with Frank the Tank and Happ at that point.
Definitely.
And that's where I went, Bergs, but it's a valid question. And that's the one pick I don't feel great about.
This dunk on Indiana alone warranted the spot.
Yeah. No, I will say this. I was surprised. I just got done trashing one of my picks. I was surprised Wilkinson made it back to me on the flip. I thought he would go higher. So I think that
he was in heavy consideration on my end.
Believe me, same here. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break there. We're going to come back with our next show where we're filling our bench, final thoughts, talk about which of the other teams made our favorite picks, who stole players from who, maybe even talk a little trash about our rosters as well. That'll be coming up next on Locked On Badgers. Really appreciate everybody tuning in as always. Guys, thank you so much, and we're going to continue this on our next show.